In today's video, I'm going to talk about the common nutrition mistakes that triathlon and endurance athletes make. So I'm going to go through some of the most common mistakes that I see, because I know it can be a bit of a minefield out there, but I want to just break down some of the barriers when it comes to complicated nutrition and give you my top common mistakes, you know what to avoid, so that you can smash your workouts, smash your races, and reach your true performance potential. My name is MJ, this is Tri4 Nutrition. We're an endurance nutrition specialist, and I make videos all about endurance and triathlon nutrition, just to make it less complicated for you, so that you've got a trusted source of advice and guidance when it comes to nutrition in your endurance journey. And today's video is all about the common mistakes that I see, because I think that's the best place to start on what not to do when it comes to your nutrition strategies for your training and your racing and your recovery. So let's get into the video. Okay, so the first most common mistake that I see people make is probably an obvious one, but it's not eating enough food. And actually, most of the studies that have been done on endurance athletes, and there are not loads and loads of them out there, but there are some, mainly return the fact that people just don't eat enough when they're doing lots of endurance training. Undereating is one of the biggest things that I have experienced myself in the past before I was studied and trained in this art. But yeah, with the athletes I work with as well, not eating enough food is one of the biggest problems that we have. So just simply getting the calories in, because you've increased your training load significantly and now you've got a lot more demand on the body, can be tricky. It's something that not everybody gets on top of straight away. And then the second thing that is the most common mistake that I've seen is kind of a little bit counter to the first one, which is that, okay, you need to eat more food, but then what happens is people use that increased caloric need, if you like, as a bit of an excuse to just eat whatever they want and not consider the core health requirements of the body. So yeah, you need to eat more food, and it's often the case that a lot of people don't eat more food or enough food, but that doesn't give you an excuse to then just eat whatever you want. Of course, you can have balance and you can indulge and you can have your pizzas and your cakes and all that sort of stuff, but you need to make sure that you take care of your core nutrition, your internal health, as well as your energy needs. So using the increased energetic need as an excuse to eat more is not a strategy that I would personally recommend. And again, it's one of those things that I see people do quite a lot. Okay, so mistake number 3 is not practicing your nutrition strategies and not treating nutrition like you would treat any other aspect of your endurance sport. So if you're doing triathlon like me and you're doing swim, bike, run training, but then you don't train and practice your nutrition, you're leaving a massive stone unturned. Because as they say, nutrition is the fourth discipline when it comes to triathlon, certainly. But in endurance sports, it's really important to work out what nutrition strategies work well for you in terms of volume, in terms of type, in terms of timing, your pre-race food, your during race, your recovery, all that sort of stuff is really important. And if you don't practice that in your training blocks, then when it comes to your race day, you're not going to know what to do. So practicing your race nutrition in your training as part of your training plan is really important. As I said before, also practicing it so that you can take care of your core health, making sure you're getting all those vitamins and minerals in and all the things your body needs to deal with the extra demand that you're putting on it, is also really important. So that's something that you shouldn't really neglect, and if you leave that stone unturned, it can result in things like injury, illness, burnout, poor recovery, poor race day performance. So yeah, it's something I see a lot, and you shouldn't neglect your nutrition strategy. You should treat it exactly like you would any other aspect of your training. Okay, so common mistake number 4 is again around that core health aspect, and actually not paying attention to the other aspects of nutrition that really help boost training, racing potential, but most importantly, recovery. So when you think about the fact that you're putting extra load on the body, extra stress, you've got more inflammation, you've got more internal oxidation because you've got high amounts of stress inside the body, you're damaging your muscle tissues all the time because you're looking to improve and build strength and repair. And if you're not feeding your body the right nutrients, you know, it's not just about carbohydrates, proteins and fats, it's also about vitamins and minerals and all those things, those essential fatty acids, for example, the things that your body needs. If you're not looking after yourself in that way, then you will increase the risk that you're going to get injured, you're going to suffer in recovery, and you're not going to be able to perform at your best. Yeah, kind of centered around that core nutrition piece, but focusing a little bit more on recovery is something I see a lot of people neglect. It's almost like, you go to the gym every day and you don't give yourself a chance to rest and recover, and your body isn't going to adapt positively to the demand you put on it. And it's the same with nutrition. You need to give your body the right foods and the right things in order for it to recover and deal with the load that you're placing on it. And the final thing I'd say, people assuming that they can just copy someone else. So with everything I've said about making sure that you have the right nutrition strategy, you practice it, you eat enough, but you don't use that as an excuse to just eat whatever you want and eat junk food all the time, and you pay attention to things like recovery nutrition as well as fueling, you shouldn't copy what someone else does just because it works for them, because every person is unique. So what you'll hear me talk about often is the guidelines and the things that I would recommend you start with, but you're going to want to test and play around with those guidelines to find what works for you. So don't make that mistake. Test, practice, figure out what works with you, do a bit of trial and error, and then you'll land on something that you can rinse and repeat that's going to give you the kind of results that you're looking for. And that's it. Those are the common mistakes that I see people make, and most of those common mistakes are really easy to fix. Some people don't pay any attention to their nutrition, and I would always argue that that's a huge mistake, because if you're going to invest a lot of time, a lot of blood, sweat and tears, a lot of money on kit and things like that when it comes to endurance, you might as well pay attention to your nutrition. But those are the things that I see people make mistakes on most of the time, and it's exactly the kind of stuff that I'm trying to help you with the videos that I create. So if you have a question about anything that I've said, or you're curious about any aspect of endurance nutrition, leave a comment below. I'd love it if you liked and subscribed so that I can grow the channel and I can reach more curious endurance athletes just like yourself. I put the link to my website below as well, so you can check us out, find out a bit more about what we do and the services that I offer. With that being said, thank you for watching today's video, and I'll see you at the next one.